quick enough. Could we call the Inglewood City Council meeting of July 23rd to order? Could we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
A quorum is present.
Any persons wishing to address the council on any item on today's agenda other than the hearings may do so at this time.
Mayor?
Yes.
The shot clock is having some difficulty, so I'll do it manually if that's okay.
I'll do it as well.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Mayor, Council, my name is Joseph Texera, District 1, a resident of Inglewood for 50 years. I object to the payment to Inglewood today because Inglewood's taxpayers do not want their hundreds of thousands of taxpayer dollars to go to a paper or a publisher who not only deliberately withhold the facts from us about our elected officials and our city, but who literally make up stories, lie, to deceive and manipulate their readers. I would hope that this city council has some ethical standards for who we do business with, who we give our taxpayers' dollars to. Do we do business with hate groups, with organizations that want to overthrow the country? Then why do we do business with Willie Brown and his paper when it is a documented fact that Inglewood Today and Willie Brown hides important city issues from its readers and uses Inglewood's tax dollars to lie to residents in order to mislead voters and pervert our democratic system? Let me give you an example. This is the Inglewood Today from May 30th, 2013. In it, publisher Willie Brown states that I ran out of a burger stand, taking some political flyers with me, destroyed them, and threw them away outside the building. Now, in the next paper, Veronica Mackey writes that Willie Brown again said, and this is on June 20th, that Brown would never publish anything unless he had something to back it up. Now, I came here and I said that he was a liar. I offered him $500 for video that he said he had in his story that showed me doing those three things: destroying the flyers, taking them out of the burger stand, running as I did it, and he said he'd put the video on his website. Unfortunately for him, again, I think I described this before, I knew that I had to talk about him bad enough for him to have to put the only video that could actually prove he's a liar on his own website, because I don't have a website. So I gave him a chance to confess. He didn't want to do that. So we put his website on his video on the website. And if you look at the video, it doesn't show any of those things. Now, Brown wrote it. He put his name behind it. He put his picture on it. He said those three things. He said he had video that showed those three things. And now he's proven to be a liar. Now, you can do whatever you want, but sooner or later, it's going to come out that you employ people that lie, that get paid by the people that are running, and then lie for you. This isn't a mistake. He had the video, the same video that's on his website now. He knew he was lying when he wrote the story. He knew he was lying when he published it, and he knew he was lying when he sat up here. If that's the kind of people you want to be associated with, that's your problem. But as a taxpayer, I'm not going to stand for it. And every time Willie Brown or Inglewood Today is going to get some money from this city, I'm going to point out he's a liar. And I'm going to point out that his own website proves he's a liar. And with my last couple of seconds, I'm going to say, when I say I'm going to keep doing it, I mean I'm going to keep doing it.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Councilman, Mayor. I'm here just to talk a little bit about H2 possible, and that is kind of denying this store has been in my area for 34 years, and I've had access to the store over the 34 years and almost grown with the store. And
Hold on one second, Mr. Brown. I think it's okay because it's not the public hearing, and we're not going to open up public comment for it, so it's okay. Go ahead, Mr. Brown.
And I was looking at several things that was in the report that they talk about former gang members working in the store. Many of us are ex-somebody, so they deserve a chance to work. And if you go to stores like Superior Market and Burlington Coat Factory, they have no problem. They also talked about 81 calls. I'm always concerned whether 81 calls, because I'm there in the morning when the store opens at 7 and all. And so I'm here to kind of question the staff accuracy on their reports, because none of them have really went out into the community and talked to Ron, the barber owner, the fish market, Deborah Cleaners, Pizza Hut, all the way down to Nick's check cashing. Image plays a lot of part in a store's business, so I even have suggestions for the owner. Maybe you should increase the lighting on the rear. You need also to, if you want to talk about lighting of a business, you need to look at the liquor store on 108th and Western. Things that will help the tenants and people coming in is maybe changing the music. How about 92.7 instead of 92.3? Because nobody needs to hear about music in a store that disrespects women's. And you might also think about if you give them a license to maybe reduce the hours from 7 to 11. Anyway, who buys lotto tickets at 12 o'clock anyway? And to the city, I would like to see them do a little more one-on-one on the Crenshaw Carter where I live. I need to even see my councilman a little more in the community so that people know that he's still there. Town hall meetings are fine, but I feel you even have a much larger congregation of people if we start thinking about going back to Central Baptist Church in Lock Haven. So I would look to see how you respond to giving support and really look at the store, because it's been there a while, and if anything, the big problem is the congregation of people up and down the Crenshaw Card, not at the store. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Close public.
Good evening, council members. There's several things on the agenda that I do find a little bit interesting, and I'm going to go ahead and start at the beginning with Jin's Liquor. I think it's been there even since I was in high school, and that was a whole lot more than 37 years ago. So they have been functioning probably under new owners. But I'm going to register my concerns about all those other stores that sell those products that we claim we don't really want, as opposed to tobacco. So if we are going to say we are against certain products, then we should take a legitimate stand against those products rather than the ones which are actually legal. And yes, there should be the process of proper record keeping, but doggone, Inglewood itself doesn't do such a great job of record keeping either, does it? You know, you didn't like the fact that that $2.6 million that HUD had an issue with was about record keeping. 2.6 versus a couple of cigarettes. Kind of like getting mad at somebody for doing what we do. Not realistic. With regards to, I'm always concerned that unfortunately our minutes don't seem to be real quick in getting to us. This is for approving March. April, May, and June have happened. That's 3 months. That's a long time. That's not, well, at least some of you should not be approving them. You should be abstaining because, golly gee whiz, wow. Do you really remember? Did you actually go back and watch all those tapes, which we know are edited? With regard to the park ideas, we are acknowledging completion, and thank goodness somebody finally dealt with that ramp saying it's good for handicapped kids to go sailing into the wood chips at Center Park. Thank goodness that sign is gone, because it's probably not best that we advertise we're handicap accessible when we are in fact inviting a lawsuit. And with regard to resolution that is on, well, the 3333 West Manchester. When we ask volunteers to give up their time, and we ask them Yeah, we give them business cards, but let's be real. We ask them to give up their time. In theory, they're supposed to go out there and check on the things that they're supposed to be recommending. That we constantly overturn, that's kind of insulting to the people who actually, theoretically, did do their part in making recommendations.
My name is Willie A.G., and I live in the beautiful city of Inglewood. My first comment is on payment of the bills. I pay taxes in the city of Inglewood. And anytime my tax money is going to support a good newspaper like Inglewood Today, I have no problem with it. So I support you 100%. Mr. Willie Brown, thank you. I want to comment on the liquor store on 110th and Crenshaw. I bought a many pack of cigarettes out of there. I don't use them anymore. But I do believe in the Constitution of the United States. A person have a right to buy cigarettes if they want to kill themselves, and that's exactly what I think cigarette does to you. But if people want to buy them, then evidently she's selling them. If they don't buy them here, they're gonna go down the street further and buy them, you know. So I know for a fact they've been selling tobacco product there for many years, and you know, I don't have any problem with that. I like consent calendar 4 and 5 was approved by the Park and Recreation Commission, and I hope the council approve them tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Agee.
Gil Matthew, District 4. As far as the media concerned, I think it's the people's choice. And I would advise anybody with any media, including all of them, to have common sense when you read it. So I'm neutral on that. As far as payment of the bills, here again, we have a policy on payment of the bills. If not, why not? If you have one, I'd like a copy of it. And I'm still telling you that you should have oversight on payment of these bills. You do not have to go through bill by bill. You have what they call extrapolation, which you random pick out 20 and you order it, and then you want to know who approved it, and you do your due diligence. You have a check number 538819, dated 7/11/2013. Now, it's paid out of general fund, and it totals almost $16,000 legal fees with no explanation, not even what it's for. You don't even have the total amount. It's one check, but you don't even put the total. Our legal fees are almost 2% of the general fund. And I noticed the more that the Department of Finance denies, the more you shift to the general fund. You're on a slippery slope. But yet you sit and you sit, you won't even have the successor agency meet, you won't do a won't do a thing. People are sick and tired of this. And I don't know when you're gonna get it through your head that Inglewood residents are not kids. So put your big boy pants on and state what the financial condition of this city is, and stop playing like you're a little high school consul or something. It's got to stop. Now, also on Resolution 1, I approve the permit with the conditions of the city. Finally, you're getting some sense. And I appreciate that, and I applaud you for that. So you coming along, but it's too slow for what's happening. Now, check number 539023, Home Depot. You're buying tape, 1 7/8 inch tape, 150 inches or whatever. same size, you got 5 different prices for the same item. Something is wrong with that picture. You got budget hearings coming up. This is the end of the 3rd quarter, you're not
Thank
even
you,
giving a
Mr.
report
Matthew.
on the finances.
Thank you, Mr.
What's
Matthews.
wrong with you guys?
Thank you, Mr. Matthews. If there are any other persons that want to speak, could you stand up and line up so that we don't take time for everybody to walk up? Thank you.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, Leroy Fisher, the First District. I will kind of follow up on what Mr. Matthews had said with regard to all these legal fees that we're paying out of the general fund. You know, he said you're on a slippery slope. We don't have the money. Much of the stuff that you've already agreed to by the state has been denied or will be denied, and we are going to be stuck with it. Which brings me to mind of a thing that I read in one of our local papers recently about taxes in the First District, Mr. Dotson. You know, we do pay a lot of taxes, too many taxes, and I would that you would look at these taxes as you act in the interest of the First District residents as our council person. You know, you're talking about this tobacco thing, and I hadn't been here for a long time, but when I was here last, I was asking you all about this marijuana issue and why we even have to have it, in as much as the state says we don't have to have it. Now the federal government is coming involved and arresting people and putting people in jail. So I just wonder why you, them, as our leaders in council, couldn't just have come with a policy that we're not going to have them since we don't have to have them, and that would be done with it, you know, so that we wouldn't have to go on with this. Finally, you know, the reason I am here this evening was to kind of talk about finances, and part of those finances has to do with our ICOP center person, Mrs. Mann, in the First District. I know that she's going to speak to this herself, but I speak to you all.
Mr.
Yeah.
Fisher,
Yes,
is this on the agenda?
it's not on the agenda,
Okay,
but
then why don't you wait
Okay.
until the end of the meeting?
Thank you.
Hello, Inglewood family. I'm Bill Widener, and on this H1 and H2, it seems like people have gone off, drifted off of the real subject there. I think that was cigarettes being sold separately that weren't in a pack. Wasn't that the original complaint? And I don't know why the state of California is not handling that. There's supposed to be a seal on there from the state of California for taxes. So maybe you ought to keep that in mind. As far as I'm concerned, you ought to quit smoking in this whole city anyway. Make it a moratorium. And I've said that many, many times in here. And, you know, I've got emphysema from it myself. And so I don't think real highly of it. But, you know, according to the newspapers, you know, that's part of our constitutional rights. Print anything we want to. That's the newspapers. Now, whether I agree with what's printed there or not is another thing. But they got that's a right of any newspaper to print what they want. And with that, keep it up.
Folks, I let us go a little far afield in talking about neighbors, but from now on, we talk about payment of the bills. We're going to talk about payment of the bills. We're not going to go on about newspapers in the opening comments. That's the last of that. Okay, we're going to close public comment. We're going to excuse me. We're going to close, sir. If you speak out, would you remove him, please? We have Assemblyman Bradford here.
I thought you get a warning before you get kicked out. That's in the rules.
You're leaving right now, sir.
So you're breaking the rules?
No, you're leaving.
You're violating the rules. You're supposed to get a warning. You know
You've
that.
been warned
You know
before.
that. No, you don't
You've
get
been
warned
warned
a year later
before.
when it carries over. You're supposed to warn in
Take him
every
out.
meeting. That's why you're crooked.
Okay. Assemblyman Bradford, would you like to say a few words with that warm up?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. I was really just here as my regular visit during what we call summer recess, only from Sacramento, not from the responsibilities and, of the job of being your state legislature representing you here in the city of Inglewood. But I also wanted to come and congratulate your two newest members of your council, Councilman Dotson, Councilman Padilla. And let me tell you, this is going to be the most challenging job that you have ever undertaken. But at the same time, if done right, it would be the most rewarding job that you could have ever undertaken. So I commend you for your commitment for public service and the work that I know you have committed to do to move Inglewood forward. And to the mayor and the council who have been here with years of experience, I know you welcome the new addition to your council and look forward to working in a collaborative way. But I just want to quickly just say, bring greetings from Sacramento. We're on break, and this is only the second time in the time I've been in the legislature that we've had a summer recess, because in years past we didn't have a budget that was done in time, so we were denied those recesses. But we have balanced the budget this year with $1 billion in reserve. We've dealt with local control funding for schools. We all didn't love the formula, but some did. I think Inglewood's going to come out on the positive based on that formula that has been approved by the governor, and say that California's moving in the right direction. But we're not there yet, and we're going to continue to work closely with cities such as Inglewood, because we know the negative impacts that this city is now dealing with because of the loss of redevelopment agencies. An issue that we dealt with 3 weeks ago was looking at disbanding, but again, we're using the word of restructuring enterprise zones, and I have been cautious because that was a language and discussion that was said regarding redevelopment, and we know what happened there. So we're mindful that we have put cities in a bad position, because it was many cities that were doing well with their agencies, doing good projects, and the project that you're completing now at the Forum is going to be a state-of-the-art project that the city, the state can hold their heads up and be proud of. So I commend you for the work that you're doing in spite of some of the stuff that we've done in Sacramento, and we look forward to our continued partnership. I know the mayor's been there on a regular basis. Councilman Morales is there, and Ralph Franklin have always voiced their concerns of what they need from the city. So I hope that you call upon my office and do the same thing, both Councilman Dotson and Councilman Padilla. So thank you.
Thank you, Assemblyman. With that, we'll close public comment. You know, I want to comment briefly on something that was this is of concern, because Mr. Fisher talked about medical marijuana. Lost in the discussion is that people don't realize that we have a law that prohibits dispensement of medical marijuana unless it's an inpatient type facility, and the dispensement is done on an inpatient basis. We have no such facilities in this town. We, since I've been in office, we've closed some establishments, and we did so until we were enjoined by a lawsuit, and that hearing was heard on June 20th, and when it was found in our favor, we continued to close facilities. So there's some type of misunderstanding that there's some authorization through the Planning Commission. It never has been. We've had an ordinance against it, and we've always enforced it. So, and we will continue to. And the other thing, Mr. Fisher talked about, some newspaper talked about taxes in the first district. The only taxes that have been reauthorized in recent memory were the assessment districts that have been in effect since in the 70s, I believe, and they are not new. And there's one that is assessed to the property bills of residents in District 1, and one only. There's one that's assessed to property owners on Market Street, and there's one that's imposed in the Darby-Dixon area of District 4, and there's this general citywide streetlight maintenance district that's paid by everyone. So if you read in a paper that says there are new taxes or there are 4 taxes on District 1, they are either mistaken or lying. So we need to put that to bed. Item 1, CSA 1 and H1.
Warrant register allow for payment of the bills.
Move allow payments.
Second.
Madam City Clerk?
Council members Dodson,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. HE1.
Next scheduled matter is a hearing to consider an appeal of the Permits and License Committee denial of a tobacco retailer license renewal for Hayter Ali DBA KHNA Tobacco Shop to operate as a tobacco retailer at 8605 Crenshaw Boulevard.
Okay, before we have a motion, this is going to probably apply to both and probably save a lot of talking. I know that I, and I'm certain that all the other council members have reviewed the record and the ordinances that control this issue, and one thing that is clear to me, that we use the revocation standards for the denial. The P&L committee used that in issuing the denial. And because of that, it would be impossible for me to vote to uphold the finding, the denial in either of these cases because we didn't apply the proper standard. That being said, you know, there's a lot of debate about tobacco products, and we know that they're bad for your health, but they're legal and people have a constitutional right to sell them, and I don't think anyone on this council is making a decision based on whether or not they feel tobacco products are bad, acceptable, or otherwise. Those are my comments.
No, and sometimes the process, you know, takes care of the issue in a way that doesn't speak to how we feel about the actual actions that were taking place, but where we need to move on and holding up the integrity of our process as a whole. So with that, I'd like to make a motion that we overturn the Planning Commission's denial.
Second.
Madam City Clerk?
Council members Dodson,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. HE2?
The next scheduled matter is a hearing to consider an appeal of the permits and license denial of a tobacco retailer license renewal for Sue Yu Lee, DBA Jen's Liquor, to operate as a tobacco retailer at 11001 Crenshaw Boulevard.
Likewise, I'd like to make a motion to overturn the decision of the Planning Committee.
I second that.
Madam City Clerk?
Council members Dodson,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. Madam Clerk, what's the next scheduled matter?
I think that matter
pulled.
is being pulled.
PH1
off
is
the-
pulled?
Yes.
Then I guess it is. The consent calendar, items 2 through 6.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, items, wait a minute, we do have to pull
Item two.
to item 2, so we'll have to
Oh,
take
that's
2
it.
separate. So 3 through 6. Madam City Clerk?
Council members Dodson,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. Item 2.
Minutes of the meeting held March 13th and March 19th, 2013.
Move approval.
Second.
Madam City Clerk?
Council members Dodson,
Abstain.
Padilla,
Abstain.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. RES 1.
Resolution pertaining to the request by Barry Pierce to add 392 square foot to an approximately 2,424 square foot beauty salon on a C2 zone property located at 3333 West Manchester Boulevard.
We'll move 1 and 2.
And I believe,
Now, I'm looking at,
the resolution, there was a date that was changed. That was the
Right.
only thing. You guys are aware of that?
yeah.
Okay,
That's
fine.
what I was just looking at.
Good,
that.
okay.
Okay.
Is there a first and a second?
Yes, I second.
Madam City Clerk?
A first and second to 1 and 2?
1 and 2.
Okay. Council members Dodson,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. DR 1.
Staff report recommending approval of a non-financial work experience agreement with the South Bay Workforce Investment Board.
So moved.
Second.
Madam City Clerk?
Council members
M-
Dodson.
Mayor, excuse me, I'd like to, if I could, there needs to be a small correction to
All
the
right.
agreement, if that's okay.
All right.
In this particular item, the South Bay Workforce Investment Board is requesting 2 non-financial agreements to allow for youth to work summer year-round, and there is a request to modify the amount of workers' compensation and general liability insurance. I can tell you which pages they are. There's two specific locations. The general liability needs to change from $2 million to $1.5 million because that is the city's self-insured retention. And that also needs to be the same in Section D, workers' compensation and employers' liability. And I would, staff's recommendation is that the council approve the two agreements with the two changes in the appropriate locations.
I so move, Mayor.
Second. Okay, so the original motion's withdrawn. We're voting on the amended language. Madam City Clerk?
Council members Dodson,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Franklin,
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye.
Mayor,
Yes.
just want to go back, because it was brought to my attention that it just, for the record, it just needs to be stated on the hearings that we were overturning the license.
No, the P and L.
P&L.
P&L.
Right.
This
So I just want that for the
decision
record,
is
so that.
denied, yes.
Yes, okay. Thank you.
CM1.
Yes, Mayor and City Council, I just want to use my time to inform the public that last week, staff met with our sales tax consultants and received some pretty positive news on our economic recovery in our city. For the third quarter, our sales taxes are up 6.4% over last quarter this time, of the same quarter last year. And that's really impressive because the county of Los Angeles sales tax went up only 4.9% over the same quarter last year. So we're well on our way to economic recovery in our city, and I just want to let the public know that.
Thank you. A1, there was no A1. A2. CC1, Madam City Clerk.
No remarks, thank you.
CT1, Madam City Treasurer.
Thank you, Mayor. Just like to give a brief report on the bills that was paid for the city for the month of June and July. For June, the bills that was paid was $14.5 million, and the net payroll was $2.5 million, and the total for the month is $17.1 million. And I would like to point out that some of the large ticket items that was paid was for West Basin Municipal Water District for $876,000, County of Los Angeles $867,000, and those were the large payment items that was made. And would like to point out also that the rates continue to be rather low. There's very little offerings in the 1 year period. In the 2 year period, the rates are at 0.4 to roughly about 4.3, but that's a non-callable and at a premium. And in the 3 year range, the rates are quite low also, at a 0.5 to about a 0.85. And the 4 year range about 1.29. And for even the 5 year, the range is roughly about 1.75 to 1.80. So the rates continue to be quite low. And also, I would like to point out that the total funds that are invested, as of July the 30th, is $38,522,763. That concludes my brief report, but I would like to request that the mayor close the meetings in honor of Marquise Varancy Parrish. That's Markeis. Vonereece, middle name, Parrish, Parish. He was killed by a hit-and-run driver on Saturday. He's a neighbor of mine, and I had literally watched him grow up from about the age of 15 months. It was a hit-and-run, and of course, he was practically killed instantly. So again, that's Marquise Varancy Parrish. That concludes my report and my brief report.
Thank you. Appointments to boards and commission. Councilman Alex Padilla nominates and I appoint Juanita Withrow to the Parks and Recreation Commission.
I concur.
Madam City Clerk.
Can you tell me again what commission she's on?
Parks and
Parks and
Recreation.
Recs, thank you. Council members Dodson,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin,
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. Is there any rule that says we can't do these as a batch?
I
Did
don't know.
name
I
them
don't
all?
know of any rule. It would be nice. Not gonna.
Okay, let's do it. Let's
Is
do it
there a
this way.
rule? No, there is no rule, so you want to read them all off, and then I just take the vote for
I
all of
did.
them? I love it.
All right. It's wonderful. Nobody argued, okay. Wow. Councilman Alex Padilla nominates and I appoint Jim Withrow to the Aviation Commission. Councilman Alex Padilla nominates and I appoint Martine Jarutzowitz to the Arts Commission.
At the end.
At the end. Councilman Alex Padilla nominates and I appoint Jim Vaughn to the Citizen Police Oversight Commission. Councilman Padilla nominates I appoint Patricia Marquez to the Civil Service Board of Review. The councilman nominates and I appoint Ted Brass to the Construction Appeals Board. Councilman Padilla nominates and I appoint Glenda Brass to the Housing Advisory Board. Councilman Padilla nominates and I appoint Pat Douglas to the Library Commission. Councilman Padilla nominates and I appoint Alex Padilla Jr. to the Youth Commission. Name sounds familiar. Councilman Padilla nominates and I appoint Gabriel Hernandez to the Youth Commission. Councilman Padilla nominates and I appoint Mike Baldy to the Parking and Traffic Commission. Councilman Padilla nominates and I appoint David Rice to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Councilman Padilla nominates and I appoint David Stewart to the Citizen Police Oversight Commission.
And I concur on all those appointments.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Butts.
Aye. Public comment. Persons wishing to address the City Council on any matter connected with city business not elsewhere considered on the agenda may do so at this time. Okay, we'll close public comment. Oh, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, staff, first of all, to congratulate the city and following through business. We're moving in the city. Everybody can see that. I mentioned last time we talked about the streets and how they were being repaired, and the development that's going on in the city is to really outline what we're looking for toward the future in this city, and things are really looking good. And I just want to put a couple of things on the minds of our councilmen and sort of remind them, and of course encourage them and push them also in doing these things. We have a lack in two areas in my belief that we need to attend to right away. And that's our seniors of this city and our youth of this city. Now, I understand that we're already in negotiations and developing a senior housing unit or senior center as we were a few years back, but understand that we're getting closer to doing the right thing with that and building that sort of thing so that the seniors in our city can have other places to go to has recreation and some of the finer things that they can do as senior citizens. We need that very badly in this city, as we have a population in this city almost half and half, in the sense we have half youth and half seniors, and we need to take care of both. The other part of it is, of course, the youth. We need a youth center like no other city. We need a viable youth center where our youth can come together as one, not on the north side of the city and the south side of the city. We need a complex to encompass all the things that our youth are doing in this city so that we can coordinate the talent of those youths and the interests of those youths and make these things happen in this city. A lot of our talent goes outside this city. We have famous names, I mean internationally famous names, come out of this city and represent other entities rather than the city of Inglewood, and we never get credit for it until they are introduced on television and then say they're from Inglewood, California. You see, we have Paul Pierce and with the Boston Celtics. We have Lisa Leslie with the Sparks. We have and I can't think of her name now, but the model, who's international, and they come out of the city, and yet they say we came from Inglewood, and we have no recognition for them now, nor have we reached back and pulled them into the city. So we need that very, very badly. Think in terms of Center for Youth.
All right. And Councilman Morales said it's probably Tyra Banks you were thinking of.
Tyra Banks,
All right.
thank you.
All right.
I thank and applaud my fellow residents for talking about the youth. I've been talking about the youth for more than 40 years in this city. I've asked you all to reconsider some property to have a YMCA. I was this past week in Las Vegas as a representative of the Pacific Southwest region that I am this director of this region, and all of these cities around us have YMCA's that are they're governed by the LA Metro YMCA, as we once had and once did. And it's funny, you know, I've talked to all of you. I've talked to our Assemblyman Bradford about this issue. I've even asked to sit down and have meetings with some of the people that, like yourselves, who represent this city and the youth in it. I would hope that you would, at some point, get it and understand that YMCA is a wonderful thing. We had one for more than 80 years in the city. We don't have one. We do have a Wiseman's organization, and we will continue to do the things that we do in the city and the things that we do internationally, even though as we go to all these meetings, we can't present anything about the city of Inglewood. I wanted to talk earlier about the situation with Mrs. Mann. I just found out about it a day ago, and you know, I don't know how you them could even begin to think of her not being there. To begin with, Mrs. Mann has been in that position for more than 30 years. Mrs. Mann is responsible for the ICOP Center and the building that is at 7th Avenue in Manchester. Mrs. Mann has interacted with the residents through her involvement of the block clubs there. You know, the things that I heard, it was just terrible that a lead officer would come in and say that, you know, a couple of days from now, you won't be here, hand me your keys. You, them, are responsible for those things. And, you know, we might not agree on everything, you know, but, you know, things like that, and some of the other districts don't even have these ICOP centers where people come together in them. I just wish that you would consider Mrs. Mann for all that she's done and been in the city, and maybe consider rescinding whatever your plans are. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher.
Yes, my name is Alfonso Parker Jr. I'm a Vietnam veteran, 66, 67, also a conscious objector. For the first time since I've been home, I saw South Korea and Vietnam mentioned in the same breath. First time. They've been sanitizing our records for years. I finally got a document the other day where it showed up on the world internet. And you think we're the only ones there because that's what you say, congratulations, whatever. But there were more there. There were South Koreans, there were Australians there, New Zealanders, and there were Canadians and Filipinos and Thailand. We weren't the only one there. Our records have been sanitized for years. Not only ours, every veteran. This is the greatest atrocity that ever was perpetrated upon the American people, the Constitution, and you name it, since this country was founded. We have a military establishment that uses a university called Lawrence University, found in the Bible, biblical people, ministers. They have been trashing our records for years, and they call it improvisation. a lot of your politicians, a lot of your judges have gone to these military classes at these agencies, at these colleges and universities. It originated in 1946. I think it was, it doesn't matter which president, but they started out with 131 universities and colleges. Now it's up to 3,000 and something, and they're all over the country. Any college that will accept the military and its United States Navy intelligence and the Marines. They're training these people to do their own. Constitution doesn't allow it, ladies and gentlemen. In this book here, Veterans Administration, it's a bunch of crap. All them paper clips mean in there. You won't find one word of an agency that deals with your security clearances, and that's the United States Air Force Classified Material Procedures. All you found is DOD, which is the Army, over all of these agencies. The Air Force is the only agency that does with that. And every one of you politicians that compromise, become collaborators, or allow or look at a military soldier's document, or actually people that work for the military, period, and you condone and leave that document in the system, and you do not report it immediately to the nearest control center. You secure it and you report it. And you guard that until they come get it. If you have to guard it a week, you better not go to sleep. You better watch it. You become a co-conspirator. And in the end, it comes back to you. You cannot do this, ladies and gentlemen. I know you're saying to do it, but you let them do it. We allow them to do it. You don't trash people, our records like that. When we come, when the government calls, the country calls, we answer. You call it collateral damage today.
Thank you, sir.
In Vietnam, we call it
Sir,
frag. You don't frag
sir,
your own.
You're at time.
You don't frag your own.
Remember where Hitler went with his nest like this?
We're not going to do that.
I think so. You're already in it.
Would you take him out, please?
Yeah, okay, no problem.
Good evening, Council. My name is Laverne Mann, a resident of the 1st District for 47 years. I was asked last week to give me your key to the center. I have been working with the center since it was there. I was more or less the one who started it. I found the location. I found out that the city owned the property, and that's how this got there. It's funny that we get new council people and now I'm out. I haven't done anything. I've always been there. I also open in the evening when there's a meeting. I don't get paid for that, but I go there and open up meetings in the evening. I just don't know what else to say. I just think it's a sad situation that all of a sudden I'm out. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mann. And thank you for your service.
My name is Diane Sombrano, and I'm going to reiterate that you would not have a community center, and I'll wait till I have everyone's attention. Thank you. We would not have a community center in any of your districts, if it was not for the efforts of Laverne Mann. Laverne Mann found the first monies. Laverne Mann is the one who found the mobile unit. Laverne Mann is the one who made sure that the community had the opportunity to have a building available where community groups could actually meet and gather in a nonpartisan fashion. Oh my gosh. I guess with her not being there, we'll just be like the other districts in District 1. Right? Shut them down when you don't like somebody. Shut them down because the person that you want to give money to isn't available during day parts that the community actually wants to meet? Wow. What does that say for the residents of this community who have given their time, their energy, their efforts, and their volunteerism? That great big dollar figure that we want to save off of her is $400 whole dollars, $432 to be exact, every 2 weeks. Wow. I would venture to say that without her there, backlash is going to be really bad. Because everybody's going to say, wow, we used to be able to go and do that. Trust me, the people of this community will find another location not in your community so that you can't threaten, you can't be unkind, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Because enough's enough. The residents of this community deserve to be respected, and that's not happening in this room. It will happen at some point. And guess who will not be respected any longer by pretty near anyone? Now, I shouldn't have to be doing that because someone of major significance just passed away, and probably not a single one of you know or even care. But if it wasn't for that family, this community would not even exist today. In 1894, a family came to this town and started to establish it. All up and down the streets, there are buildings put in place by a specific family. Charles Heath has passed away at 90 years old. And in all the time, how many of you have bothered to thank him or his family for the first pharmacy, first theater, the funeral home, planning commission, not just recently, but way back in yesteryear, park and recreation, and yes, a host of buildings, opportunities, and privileges that this community would not have if it was not for them, who put up their own homes to build. Yes, I know the clock's ever so blasted important. You can't honor a man after 90 years of giving his life for this community without the 60,000 or the 100,000 that you're walking away with every year. Charles Heath, hopefully you'll remember that name because his name will
Thank you,
last a
Mrs.
whole lot
Brown.
longer than yours.
Thank you, Ms. Brown.
Gil Matthew, District 4, Mayor and City Council. We have two good projects going in the city. And I would hope that we would spend some time on what's happening here and now. And stop all this kumbaya and everything gonna be fine. I'm not being negative, I'm being real. Now you can roll your eyes, that's okay, I don't care about that. The financial of the condition of this city is most important. We just completed the third quarter. We have 60 days before we go into the new fiscal year. Now, whether you're concerned about it, I don't know. Whether you know about the financial condition of the city, obviously you don't. This city is in debt. Most of you don't know about AB 1484. Majority of you don't know about how much money this city owes in the condition of the new budget and what's going to be accepted. Or either you don't know or you don't understand. We are in a fiscal condition that's on a slippery slope, that it's going to be difficult to balance the budget. I don't know what it's going to take for you guys, and you're supposed to be the leaders, but you don't know. Here you have CalPERS, unfunded mandate. Maybe you don't even know what CalPERS is. Maybe you know about the pension obligation bonds. And here you're telling the seniors, we're going to build a senior center and no money. Why don't you tell the truth? You have a completion date of 2016. Now, seniors, I hope you can be patient, but you're going to stay over at the Veterans Building for 4 more years, pumping air conditioning through the window. Come on, find a new place for the seniors in the interim. You had a meeting, you didn't even give a oral report on the conditions of it. You're not funded. You're taking tax obligation bonds, 20 million, and then you're taking 3 million from CDG funds and saying we can go to stage 3B. After that, we don't know where we're gonna get the money, depending on what the state says. Are you crazy? You did that before. Oh, we got plenty of money. Yeah, that's the mayor. Oh yeah, I got right. Poor little city administrator, yeah, we got plenty of money. You didn't have a dime. and you're doing the same thing over. When are you going to learn? We need a successor agency
Thank
meeting.
you, Mr. Matho.
And we need it like yesterday.
Thank you, Mr. Matho.
I want you to understand finance.
Mr. Matho.
Yes.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council and staff, Renal Davis, 2nd District. I just wanted to come up and say that I want to personally thank Ms. Mann for her service to this community, and I regret her leaving her position. It's sad to hear how it went down. I think a little more class could have been shown. And I'm sure we're all big boys and girls. We understand that there's been a change, and people don't want the old people that were in place to be around for whatever reason. And so that's how it rolls. But again, after the years this lady's put in, I think a little more class could have been shown. With that, I would ask my new councilmen from District 2, let us know when we're gonna have a town hall meeting so I can get acquainted. And other than that, 2nd District's still there, still in one piece. Let's see what we can do to make it better. Thank you for your time.
My name is Willie A.G. and I live in the beautiful city of Inglewood. My comments are, when an individual wins an election, he has an option to appoint whomever he pleases, and that's the people that supported him in the election. Now, he has, if he wants to keep certain individuals on, he can do that. If he want to get rid of them, nobody is permanent in any public job, you know. So the councilmen in the 1st District have that right to support people that supported him. You know, that's the way I see it. I might be wrong, but, you know. Anyway, I want to commend this council for taking care of the city's business. It ain't necessary to sit here and argue all night long and get nothing accomplished. But it is necessary to come here and take care of the city's business and move on. Like I said before, any penny that I spend on any taxes to support Inglewood Today newspaper and Mr. Willie Brown, that's money, good money spent. Because without the Inglewood Today newspaper, who would we have to represent the citizens of Inglewood? Nobody. Because you don't have any other newspaper here that's truthful enough, you know. You got some overnight come-ins here, you know, but they don't know the city. I want to thank Mr. Willie Brown for representing this city, you know, and he deserved to get a little money for it, you know. So I don't have no problem with that. Mr. Willie Brown, keep up the good work. And council, you too, Mr. Franklin. You're doing a good job, old buddy. You're my councilman, right? All right.
Okay, we'll close public comment. Mayor and councilman remarks.
Mayor Wood.
Councilman Franklin.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. There was a comment raised by a resident earlier this evening relative to wanting to see the council member out with more frequency in the district. And that resident happened to be in District 4, and I wanted the resident to understand, he's not here now, he just left, that when you have town hall meetings, for me, it is a snapshot of what has transpired over the series of weeks and months of me walking the district, visiting with residents, and addressing the genuine concerns. So the This coming Saturday, July 27th, from 10 to 12 noon, at the Hollywood Park Casino, we're going to be addressing specific issues that the residents have shared with me in my visits throughout the district. Particularly, I'm proud to announce that we are going to have our police chief, Mark Fronterata, who will be there to open up the comments regarding how well they have reached out to the community and how safe this city is. In addition to that, we have homeless issues, and we'll have an officer address that. We'll also address about future water opportunities and local impacts it's going to have on the city. And then I think it's fair and fitting that when we have our consolidated waste hauler have the special cleanups, that we get a report as to what has happened and the tonnage that we have circumvented if it going to landfill. So we'll have a representative on that. And then also, we're going to highlight about job opportunities, including one of the speakers that will be there from Madison Square Gardens from the Forum, development and hiring update, particularly with the issue that been raised in the past regarding the employees being hired and not being paid prevailing wages. That issue will be addressed as well. And then we'll also have the Workforce Investment Board that will be there to talk about jobs, jobs, jobs. You talk about local hiring, come to this meeting and learn more about it. And then finally, which has been a sensitive issue that has been going on throughout my term of office, and thank goodness that our new mayor's on board that has been able to reach out to LAWA to help open up the communication, and this council made an adoption of working on an MOU. We are going to talk about the residential sound legislation program and give updates on that as well. So if you're really interested, want to find out more about this information, the theme of the council meeting, or town hall meeting, is called Be a Part of the Solution and Help Move the City Forward. On that note, thank you and good night, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Padilla.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, and community members. First off, I want to thank in District 2 our new commissioners and board members. Thank you for stepping up and taking a leadership role as we transition our community, and more specifically our district. So thank you so very much for stepping up and doing your part to make this community better. On another note, on Saturday evening, I had the opportunity to go down to Centinela Park and go there for the movies in the park. They showed a Disneyland movie. I really enjoyed it. I want to thank city staff for being there and just everybody having a good time. The next one is being held in August, and I believe it's at Rogers Park. It's a beautiful opportunity to come out with your family and friends and just enjoy a night out, good entertainment, and just having some fun. Also, my wife Stella and I had an opportunity this past weekend to visit the Centinela Adobe, which was built in 1834. I want to thank the docent that provided us with the tour, and an outstanding tour, very informative, and that's Diane Zambrano. Diane, thank you so very much for providing that tour for us and giving us that ton of information. Those of you that have not been there in the past, you owe yourself a favor to go by there and visit the Adobe and see all it has to offer, and also to join, and be a friend of the Historical Society. So please take an opportunity to do that. As it relates to, I believe it was Mr. Davis that asked, hey, when's your next town hall meeting? Well, I've been in office for almost a month now, so I can't have a town hall meeting already to talk about what I've done in a couple of weeks. So I am planning one for September, but I only say that to say this, Mr. Davis, you don't have to wait for a town hall meeting to come by and visit me and talk with me and send me an email. I'll be more than happy to sit down and talk with you and address any concerns or issues, or just a chance to get to know me. So don't wait till September. I'm more than happy to meet with you or anybody else in our district or our community to talk about the good things that we're doing here in our city and to move the city forward. And with that, thank you so very much. Oh wait, I do have one more thing. Someone got up here and talked about Mr. Heath and us not going over to visit his family and not mentioning anything about him. Well, I got to tell you, I had an opportunity a couple of months ago to sit down and talk with Mr. Heath at his residence with his son Richard, and most recently, after he passed away this Saturday, Went over to the house and spent some time there with Richard to let him know about my condolences, because I know how close Richard is with his dad. And so I kind of take offense to that. You don't know what we do day in and day out. So to come up here and to scream about, you know, our relationship with people in our community is not right. And I take offense to that.
Thank you.
The mayor is going to handle that.
Oh, thank you, yeah. You know, just to continue that, you know, there's so much that happens within our lives that that doesn't get focused on here, and we end up having to hear certain statements. But I can tell you that I received an email from Councilman Padilla probably a few hours after the actual Mr. Heath's passing, letting us know that there'll be some services coming up. So, you know, sometimes, you know, the focus is so on such a thing that is negative that you almost force it to be negative when it's really just life taking its course. So, you know, that's that on that. I did want to comment on Coach Henry, who I signed a proclamation. I don't know when he's actually retiring, but I wanted to say that he's the gentleman who handles Sentinel Park. And he has been a very big supporter of so many children's programs that are there. I mean, I can tell you that he's helped the football program, soccer program, baseball program there, but some of our employees just are a true example of how it is to go above and beyond for the children and be kind to the volunteers that are running the programs, which is the biggest part of any sports program for children. So I wanted to mention him and you know, wish him the best and thank him for his many years of service. So with that, thank you.
I wanted to.
Mr. Mayor?
Oh, go ahead.
I just got one thing, because Commissioner Heath, we served for many years on the planning commission together. We are what I call a close-knit family. We have always been that way. I've spent several hours talking to Commissioner Heath since his father passed, as late as this afternoon. So I'm with him most of the time on the phone if I'm not there with him. He knows that I'm his brother, and if he needs me, I'm always there, and I will always be there. So I just want to say that. Other than that, I want to thank you all for coming out. We always appreciate your comments. You help us do our job. So thank you very much, and staff always appreciate you. Thank you.
I want to tell Mr. Matthew there's going to be a third quarter report in August. I want to talk briefly about, you know, how we're going to evolve as a city and how we present ourselves to the world. And I gotta tell you, I really appreciate Ms. Sobrano's efforts at the Adobe and that she's a historian of the city. But it's time that we stopped acting as if someone owned other people's families, that they're the only person that cares about people, assuming the interactions of others. That I think now is just getting to be too much. Mr. Richard Heath's father died, and this is a solemn occasion. It's not something to be demagogued to attempt to inflame people's passions against people. I think that's very unfortunate, and I think it needs to stop. I spent at least good 30, 40 minutes talking with Mr. Richard Heath about his father's passing and about what his father had done and been to the community, and we shared our pain of both losing our fathers. Mr. Heath and his family are monumental to this community, and everyone here knows it. So we should stop demagoguing tragedies for our own personal needs. We need to grow up as a community. If you don't like people, don't like them, but don't try to inflame people's passions against them. It's just too much. I want to close the meeting in the name of two people today. The Honorable Charles E. Heath passed at the age of 90, was going to be 91 next week. Longtime resident, business owner of Inglewood Mortuary. He passed away last Saturday. His son, Richard Heath, the planning commissioner for 25 years, followed his father's footsteps, gave his time, volunteer time, to this community. And we give the family our deepest condolences as a city. I also want to close the meeting in the name of Marquise Von Rees Parrish, an 18-year-old student of Inglewood High, basketball player, student athlete, who was walking his bike across the street at 78th Place in Crenshaw, and he was struck by a speeding motorist. The car has been found, but the driver has not, and we're asking the person that was responsible for this tragedy to turn himself in. The Inglewood Police are working with the Los Angeles Police Department to try and resolve that part of the issue, but this young man was very much beloved. There was a spontaneous memorial the day after the accident. I think it was Sunday, was it?
Saturday.
Saturday? The memorial was Sunday, though.
Yes.
There was a spontaneous memorial on Sunday. There were about 300 people in attendance spontaneously. I really appreciated the Madam City Treasurer to call me and let me know, and we were represented, but this was every mother's son. He was a son of Inglewood, and it's just a loss to our community. Just a fine young man, and we give our condolences to the family, and I offered them any support the city can give them in this time of grief. So we're going to close the meeting in the name of Charles E. Heath and Marquise Von Rees Parrish. We're adjourned.